There we are.
Here we
Hi,
are.
folks, and welcome to the Scotch Tracker Live. Today we're talking with actor and stuntman Bobby Clark, who played the Gorn in the original series episode Arena. What was it like playing the Gorn, Bobby?
It was very interesting. It was nothing complicated about it. That the suit was sort of cumbersome, and the walking in all the brush that we walked in was difficult to walk at first because the feet being so long, and they'd get hooked up in the brush and stuff like that. And if I wasn't careful, down I would go. But it was a lot of scenes that we took up there with Jim, pardon me, Mr. Kirk. Uh, he'd go one way and I'd go the other, and the people always look at it and they'll say, "Well, good God, Mr. Bill Shatner, he can run. Why don't he just run away from the Gorn? Because the Gorn was so slow." But it was supposed to be a fight, and that's what it went up to. So we did it in the best we could.
Mm-hmm.
So, wearing the suit, did you suffer from exhaustion or claustrophobia or anything like that?
No, the suit was made out of well, you have a picture of it, but it was made out of a diver's wetsuit, and then on top of that they had all those muscles and stuff like that. So it was kind of rough walking in it, and moving with it. I couldn't I couldn't turn just my head. I mean, I had to do something like this, but it was hot a little bit, but I had times to get a break, like that picture I showed you. That was on one of my
Yeah.
breaks between scenes. So uh, it was easy. It was easy, but it was hard. I mean, if you had to go to the bathroom, you're in trouble.
Hold it.
I couldn't sit in a chair
All right.
or anything. I had to stand on a ladder.
Oh.
I had a perch that I stood on to have the wardrobe man take the head off of me and open me up a little bit.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
and Dan is showing a picture right now of Bobby Clark in the suit.
Huh.
Yes, and then the wardrobe man is holding my head.
Right.
He's holding the Gorn head right there.
Okay.
Did you ever think that this would become such an iconic, role? That it would be something that you would be so well known for decades. This dressed up in basically an alien lizard.
It was total surprising to me because I never knew what it was until the day I went to the wardrobe to find it, and then I didn't know what was coming off because Joe Pevney, who was the director on that show, he just told me, he said, "Bobby," he says, "I got something for you." He said, "I think you'll like it, and it'll be a few days' work, and and I says, "Well, it sounds good to me," but he wouldn't tell me what it was. He just said that was what he said. And he says, wardrobe will be getting in touch with you, and then you can go down and get a fitting on the suit and stuff like that. He said the suit should fit you very easily anyway. Well, so when the time came, I went to the wardrobe man, to the wardrobe department, and stood there for a little bit. And I asked him, I said, "I'm Bobby Clark, and you have a wardrobe for me?" And the guy said, "Well," he said, "yeah, it's down there, room 2 or 3, whatever dressing room it was." So I went there, and I walked in the room, and I'm looking around, and I didn't see any wardrobe hanging up. I mean, I'm used to seeing something on a hanger, and it's either a vest or it could be a shirt or could have been a pair of pants or something like that. Where I thought that was and I couldn't see it. And I called the guy up and I says, "Hey, I don't see any wardrobe in this room. He says, well, I said, Bobby, it's there. It's on the rack. And it was on the rack. Well, the rack is a couple of pipes that stand like this here, and it's got a pipe that goes that way, and it's on wheels. And the suit was folded up and just wrapped over the top of it. And I saw that, and I says, well, what? And then I called him. I says, well, where is my wardrobe? He says, it's there. He says, I'll be there. And he came over there and he showed me. Now at that time, the head was not involved in the fit because the head would fit. But I had the feet. I didn't have the Gorn hands though. I had Gorn hands, but they were different than what you're looking at there.
Oh, okay.
Now this was yes. The wardrobe man's name was Wow Chang. I guess it's Wow, W-O-W Chang. And he's gone now, God rest his soul. But he did a heck of a job with that suit. But anyway, so I got there and I finally he came in and he showed me and I put it on. My suit did not look like that one. I didn't have the air pockets in it here.
Oh,
I had some air pockets in the back. But as you can see on the picture, of course the tunic covers a lot of it. And anyway, when I got that and I tried it on, I said, well, this is going to be interesting. So I tried it on and told everything was fine and whatever. And then they told me that they were going to shoot it later on that month. So, and that was how that happened.
How was it to see? I know when I had the privilege of interviewing years ago Ben Chapman from the original Creature from the Black Lagoon, and he had told me so much about how difficult it was for him to be able to actually see, which is why he accidentally clunked Julie Adams in the head when he was carrying her. So I was curious because when you look at the episode and you see the Gorn's eyes, I was wondering just how you were able to see, or
Well, in the costume, the eyes were like kind of a sequence eye, but underneath the eye there were little slits, and it was see little slits there.
I see. Yeah.
The eyes.
Yeah. Okay.
So and my mouth was right up there between the eyes and stuff like that, but not between the eyes, but right there. And I could see. It was hard to see, but I had to look down like this to see where I was going. And yeah, that's what I saw through. But that's funny, strange. You should have met Ben Chapman. How did you like him? He was a great man.
Wonderful man. I realized this only yesterday, that this being the 67th anniversary. Yesterday was the 67th anniversary of Creature from the Black Lagoon, and I recalled when I had interviewed him and Julie Adams, it was the 50th anniversary. So I started to feel old because I was like, well, that was 17 years ago, if my math is correct. Yeah. Because I am not a math person. But, it was a wonderful experience. We had lunch. He and Julie Adams, they could not be the nicest. They were the nicest people. And Ben sent me a Christmas card to our office, to the newspaper I was working at, every Christmas. And the Christmas card always had his stamp that he personally put the Creature from the Black Lagoon stamp on the Christmas card inside. He was such a gentleman. Wonderful man.
Oh yes, dude. I knew Ben. I got to know him sort of very well because he lived in Hawaii.
Yes.
And and I have a sister-in-law that's right there by Honolulu also. So when I'd go there, I'd see Ben, and well, he liked his booze, and we hung a few on the beach and whatever. And
I believe he had a beer at that lunch, that we had.
Yeah, he likes to. He liked a little bit of juice once in a while.
Mm.
So we've had a few questions from Facebook, from people on
Yes, sir.
Facebook. Kathy Gale on Facebook asked, "Did you enjoy your time with the original crew?" I've got a picture with you and Bill Shatner.
Well, yes, I enjoyed it very well. I've known Bill for quite a while, but that picture that you just showed there, we were discussing the fight that we were going to do,
Mm.
and whatever. But I got a little saying about that. You know, he was asking me something, and I asked him, "Well, what time it is?" And darn it, it just blew out of my head what I was going to say. But it was kind of like he was asking me who's on first.
Right.
You know that little thing,
Yeah,
who's
I
on
know
first,
that.
who's on second, and he was trying to get me to go as to who is on first.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's what it kind of looks like when he's on the show. He's who's on first, but
Right.
he was a very good man. No, Bill and I got along real well, and
Awesome.
did what we had to do, and that's it. We always did get along pretty well.
And I have a question about the fight scene. How long did it take for you and Bill to plan out the fight scene? Like who punched and like to plan out that fight scene? Like how long did that take?
Oh, maybe actually, it would have taken 15 minutes if we'd have
Oh,
gone 20. I'd say 20 minutes if we'd have gone
okay.
through the fight as for the camera.
Right.
But they did different shots of it,
Mm-hmm.
and it took maybe an hour or so like that to get it.
Oh, okay.
Now you seen the brush there was there that was just on that that's in what was it, 69, uh in Agua Dulce at Vasquez Rocks there. You can see the brush on the side of the road there, but it was brush all over the
Right.
place, and you had to watch where you're going, because if you didn't, your foot would get hooked up in that stuff, and it was kind of really, pick them up and stomp them down and whatever. But
Yeah.
that's how I got around. If I didn't go right, I'd go down, and then cut. Let's do it again, and then we'd push the brush down a little bit so that I could get that. I think that foot was probably about 17 inches long,
Oh wow.
and that was quite a bit of foot to be walking around in. And they said, "Why are you
So
walking so slow?" Yes, go ahead.
so Kathy also asked, filming in November at Vasquez Rocks, was the temperature tolerable?
It
Or
was
was
it
it
was
hot?
tolerable. It was in November, and the suit was hot too. But November is just kind of a weird time in the weather situation here, and uh, it was a little chilly outside, and that made it
All right.
better for myself,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
especially when I rest and he'd unzip me and let that air get in there. It wasn't that bad, but
Mm-hmm.
it was kind of it was tough, I guess.
I've also seen the description of like this image that talks about the little holes in the suit and saying like those were ventilation holes. I wondered how much difference that might have made to the temperature. Personally, when I was looking at that picture.
Well, that is not the kind of suit that I wore on it.
Oh right. Okay.
That suit there, you mentioned the holes that are in it. Well,
Yeah.
the suit I had didn't have holes in it. It
Oh
did
right.
not
Okay.
have holes in it.
Mm.
Well,
So it
I'm
it
right.
it kept. Go ahead.
Am I right in thinking there were two actors that were playing the role?
Oh, two playing the role.
Yeah.
Yes, there was two of us. There was two Gorns. Like I say, it was kind of a miserable strut to walk around and stuff like that. And Gary did his stuff on it, and I did mine on it. But I did the I happened to have been picked.
Okay.
You had mentioned about your friendship with William Shatner. The last time I saw William Shatner, he had been at a stage presentation not far from my home in the fall of 2019, and he shared a story that I don't think I've ever heard before. And it was the one where he had talked about going to the set of a national park, which I'm assuming might be the site of Arena, where he had decided to drive there early in costume, and was stopped. He was speeding, and he was stopped by a police officer, and he thought he was going to get a ticket, and the officer ended up, asking him for his autograph. So I was wondering if that was actually the Arena episode, and if so, if he shared that story with you on the set.
Well, the only thing that comes to my mind is when you said he was in a helicopter and he was going to land in a big park. Well, Vasquez Rocks it is a park type of a place, but I think and also you said it was in 1920. 19, what was the date? I'm sorry again.
Well,
19th.
yeah, it was for the original series. He didn't name the episode, so I was always trying to figure out what episode, and I always got in the back of my mind that it might be, Arena, because he said it was. I thought he mentioned it was out in the desert, a desert scene, so we all assumed it was, for Arena, and that he was driving so fast, he was losing track of time and just driving, like 4 a.m. to get there. And he said he had his costume on, and that he got stopped by a police officer, and he was afraid of being late and getting the ticket, and it turned out that the officer just wanted his autograph.
Yes. Well, what year was that? He said.
Well, probably maybe it could have been 66. He didn't recall, his memory's going a little too. So this was only like 2019 that he shared this story at the theater. So I thought maybe it might have been Arena, and if he did, that he would have shared the story with you and other people on the set. Maybe it was
true.
Do you think it could have been the Star Trek feature, the motion picture?
No, it was. I believe it was an episode of the TV series. It might have been Shore because that was also shot at a park, I believe.
Right.
So it could have been that one.
Africa, USA.
So I was just curious if that happened to be, because it seemed like something like if it happened for Arena, he would have shared it with everybody. He would have said, "Hey, I was nearly arrested," or I nearly got a ticket, and that he might have shared the story. But I guess not.
Yeah.
No.
Well, yeah, Bill was kind of, if he'd have said it, he'd have probably, I don't know who to talk to. He'd probably talk to the production manager or something like that. If he did, Bill was kind of by himself. I don't know how you'd say it. He wouldn't come over there where all the extras and people like that, which we didn't have any extras on that set, but we had there were the actors, there were the stuntmen, and there was Bill Shatner, and that was just that was all it. We had no Leonard Nimoy or any of the other Star Trek people on the set, so it was a very, very small set. And I've got a short picture somewhere. I'd show you what it looked like on the set with the trucks and the people walking around and stuff. But it's in my dresser over there someplace.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, and it was like I say, it was kind of small. And Bill, if he was on the set and you went up to him and you talked to him, it was just like, well, hi or hello or and it was short and sweet. He was always, yeah, kind of quiet type. And myself, I was with the other people by the trailers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But eh, like I said, he's a very nice man at times. After Star Trek, he kind of started getting a little on the uh, he just started his attitude started changing a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when we did the show in Pennsylvania, that was the first show that I and Bill ever sat down and we sat at the same table and talked a little bit.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
and well, yeah, because it kind of changed my mind towards him.
Mm-hmm.
I thought maybe he was trying to be a little snouty before that. And he
Right.
get a little off on stuff, and he wasn't the Bill Shatner that I knew on that show.
Mm-hmm.
Now on the cop show he did, I forgot the name of it all of a
TJ
sudden.
Hooker. Yeah.
Yes, on TJ Hooker, he still had that kind of an attitude about it,
Mm.
and instead of going up to him, you'd rather walk away from him.
Right.
Oh.
That was it. But then
Yeah,
later, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm glad you were able to meet Bill Shatner at Steel City Con, a couple years ago. That's where, before we started the show, that's where I met you for the first time. And so I'm glad that you guys were able to have that conversation at Steel City Con. And
We had
yeah.
yes, we had a Q&A in Pennsylvania, and we had a couple of them. And it was so nice to see all those people there. I just loved them, and it was the Q&A was myself and Chekhov, I think it was.
Yeah.
Chekhov.
Walter Koenig.
And we were on it. We didn't get on stage with Bill Shatner,
Right.
so he was a different time setup than I was. But he was really neat to work with. He laughed and joked around a little bit. Before that, he wouldn't laugh and joke around with him.
Right. That's cool. And just to show the audience, this is the figure that I got autographed by Bobby Clark when he came to Steel City Con in Pittsburgh. So,
That's a nice action figure.
yes, I really like it. I think it's a well done piece. So
Did I sign it right for you?
yes, you did. Yes, you did.
And
Thank you.
it is the accurate version, because when Mego first came out with those in the 1970s, instead of putting the time and effort into actually crafting it like the Gorn that you appeared as, basically they repainted another action figure brown, and it was a lizard, and they put the Klingon uniform on it.
Right.
I saw
Decades
that.
later, you got an accurate Gorn.
There you go.
Yeah, I saw one of those. I said, "What?" They do that sometimes.
Right.
I have received a lot of photographs that people have taken and did this with the Gorn and did that with the Gorn, and it's just, well, I've got one. I have one that a photographer took, I guess, or somebody took it with a camera, and he made a print of it, and it was Gorn. It was called Gornzilla. And it's the same picture as Godzilla in the middle of the city and everything all around him.
Oh, that's
Well,
funny.
this had a picture of the Gorn and you know, and they get all kinds of photographs sometimes, people, and they're wonderful photographs.
Right.
I have them here. It's not that I would take those out and I could sign them, but
Right.
it was really, it's nice to have been doing that. You know,
Right.
we I only did 4 episodes of the show,
Right.
and that was that was
Well,
all that. I was at that time.
let's.
I was not a Trekkie. I didn't. You know, I just, it was just a job to me.
Right.
Um,
Right. So
and
I got a question. Like, so the Gorn, this character, like, you had the Geico commercial. You have the action figure. Is like, so like this role that you did is like is well known, iconic. Is there any other role that you did within your career that you're also proud of? That maybe is not like has the celebrity like known like the Gorn, but is there like something else that you did within your career that you're really proud of that you would like to share with the audience?
well, I did. I worked on Gunsmoke for 8 years,
Oh, cool.
and I worked with a lot of actors. But as like I say, as a stuntman, I'm not an actor,
Right.
but I am a stuntman. And
Mhm.
the things I did was for I did Fall for this man, and I did a Fight
Mhm.
for this man, and I got shot by this man, and I got shot by that man. So this is how it goes. And usually it takes a day to do whatever the stuntman does,
Right.
unless you are a stuntman with a speaking part.
Mhm.
Now, I did a show on Gunsmoke where I doubled an actor, but they used the actor to go in and rob the bank,
Hmm.
and I doubled the actor on it. All right, so we came out and I got shot and went down
Right.
off. The other guys, they got went down the stairs and they did it, but I got shot and I had to fall over the
Mhm.
rail or whatever I did. And the director later on, they had to get the 3 guys who was with me when we robbed the bank to come out and get on their horses and get out of town.
Mhm.
Well, the director shot it, and he says, and the guys that came out were not cowboys anyway, so they came out and they didn't know too much how to get a horse over, get on him, and get away where he had to go.
Hmm.
And they
Right.
did about beg your pardon. Anyway, he did about 4 takes on that, and the director says, "Why? What's the matter with this?" And God bless him, the head wrangler on the show said he said he says, well, hell, he says, pardon me, he says, well, heck, you shot the only guy that could ride. The others, they were just actors, and
Right. Right.
you know, it's funny how many times you will see an actor or something like that. You can say, well, can you ride a horse? Oh, yeah, I can ride a horse. Well, yeah, anybody can ride a horse, but that's not just riding a horse. It's
Right.
you got
Getting
to
on the
know
horse.
how to ride a horse.
Right.
Yeah.
And,
Exactly.
you know, if the horse don't move, well, you know how to shove him over. And a regular city person, he wouldn't shove a horse over or hit him like that. And it's just that. So I'm always proud of all my work.
Awesome.
I I've always done I've always tried to, and I've never had anybody say I didn't do a good job.
Mhm.
And you know, I've done things like wrecking motorcycles and, you know, tying them off and going over the head of the motorcycle, and
Mhm.
then and doing a lot of this kind of stuff and
Nice.
cars. You
Mhm.
know, I've rolled a car or two, and been a cop on a lot of shows. I coordinated a lot of stunts on shows, which
Oh.
uh, I'm glad I did it, and it was good to do.
Mhm.
And I tried to do my best. I didn't after every stunt, I didn't go up and say, "Well, how was this and how was that?" I got up, and if it was a cut, I'd go to wherever I was and pick up my bag, and I would
Mhm.
go home.
Right.
I wasn't a celebrity type of a person, and a lot of the cowboys did that. That even the stuntmen, that
Mhm.
they more or less got noted.
Mhm.
I never got noted as a cowboy, but I did shows on Big Valley, and I had a little part with Barbara Stanwyck, which was very good. And yeah, I was what was I doing? I don't know. We kidnapped her because we thought she was a teacher, and she wasn't a teacher. And I was one of the bad guys that took her away from the ranch and went up into the mountains with her. And I had the scene where I was very interested in her. You know, oh, she's a looker. You know, and I was gonna fool around and that. But I don't know if they showed that or not. I don't see everything on television that I did. I I see more now uh, because of being locked up in a house, so to speak. But I'm on a ranch and I don't have people all around me. So me and the wife, we live a good life here. And nighttime or even sometimes in the daytime, I'll sit down and I'll start watching some old movies, and I watch the old cowboy movies, and it just I feel more now than I did then. I was never looking to be anything but what I was. I
Mhm.
never got notified when I first started. I wanted to be a young leading man, like of course, like oh, good God, I've worked with him a dozen times. Can't think of his name on Wagon Train. I'm not Wagon Train.
Rawhide?
On Rawhide.
Clint
Yeah,
Eastwood?
because that's when I beg your pardon.
Was it Clint Eastwood on Rawhide? I forgot my.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
See, I wanted to be. I could have doubled Clint Eastwood, and but I never got the opportunity because another stuntman was doubling him. And but I wanted to be a young leading man, but
Mhm.
Mhm.
I didn't have the. I didn't have the to get up and go for the young man. I
Mhm.
just went and I did it, and I waited for somebody to say, you know, hey, I want you to do this part.
Mhm.
Well, that would have been nice. I'd have liked to have done that, and possibly if I'd have gotten the name and started getting the name and be on the marquees or something. I don't think I'd have liked that. I'd have liked the money, but I didn't care much for you know. I went and I did my job and I went home.
Right. So do you
Mm.
think like
Yeah,
stunt actors get more respect now, like for what they do than like they did back in the day? Or did you feel like back in the day, stunt actors also got respect for like what they do, how they throw their body out there to get the shot?
well, now see there again. I went and I did my gag as good as
Right.
I could. A lot of times, a lot of times they would applaud the stunt, which was great,
Hmm.
and we'd just put up and say, "Hey, thank you very much," and go and do the next thing we had to do. And sometimes we didn't feel like going, "Hey," and stuff like that. We were still a little spooked up inside, and
Hmm.
yeah, we had respect
Oh, that's
uh,
good.
over a lot of people, but it seemed like I didn't, and the other guys didn't either. But we just did our work
Oh, okay.
and went on. We were glad to do it, and the money was good. So that was it.
Hey.
Yeah.
It always everything you do, it seems, always comes down to money, and the money is a weird thing to hackle with. But
Mhm.
if I didn't make any money, I wouldn't have what I have now. So
Yeah.
and yeah. So
Bob, what
that's
So,
how.
so here's
Go
another
ahead.
question from Facebook. Someone asked, "Were you ever tempted to step behind the camera, um, or be in show business in any other capacity?" I sort of wondered if if you were ever interested in directing or anything like that.
You mean in acting like in a feature or something?
No, like
I've always
directing
wanted.
or
I'm sorry. Say that again, Dan.
were you ever interested in like directing?
Well, when I first started out, I was interested in acting. I went to the actor school and stuff like this for a while, and I was working for the studios then. Even then, and I figured, well, I'm going to make it, and I was
Mm,
doing all right. What I was doing, I was working. I was a cowboy, and I was
yeah,
at that time I was working extra, still hoping that
yeah.
I would be discovered, so to speak. And
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't. I never got discovered on anything, but that's what I was hoping when I went to school and stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
no, I just went on my way and kept my job and kept my work and did what I had to do. I did a couple of plays, and yeah, that was about it. And agents, you have to always have an agent, and I had agents that they'd always say, "Well, I got this and I got that." Well, once in a while they would hit with one, and I'd go
Mm-hmm.
and I'd do it, but it would be just a small part that if I did it, I'd get a credit for it. But
Yeah.
even there, I've done because of being a stunt man and stuff like that. In those days, we never got credits for what we did,
Right.
and,
Mm,
Yeah.
and of course, the actors they were always got their credit. But the
Mhm.
stunt guys never got a credit. They're starting to give them
okay.
credits now. I've
Right. And that's
noticed.
what, like,
Yeah.
I asked that question just a few minutes ago. Do you feel that they get more respect now because now you see more of them getting credit? So,
Well,
Mm,
I don't know if they get respect
mhm.
from their peers,
Right. Yeah.
but they don't get the respect
Mhm.
from the audience or from the people. You know
Yeah.
they would they like to be. It's kind of funny when you're in a restaurant or something,
Mhm.
and people walk by and they look at you, and they look at you, and maybe some of them will say, "Didn't you do that?" Well, right. All I gotta say is something like that, and all of a sudden you perk up. And it's nice
mm,
to be noticed,
Right. It
even
is.
as a stuntman, because you're just a name on something, or they say, "I saw
mm-hmm.
you on this, and you got shot." And but
Mm.
yes, that always makes you feel good to do that, and
Right.
Well, Bob, what was it like visiting the set of Star Trek Enterprise after being invited as a guest by stunt director Vince Dedrick? I believe I'm pronouncing it
yeah,
right. After
that was
38 years of the original episode of Arena, that must have been because I know the Gorn appeared in that episode of Star Trek Enterprise. So, it was sort of like a nice gesture, a nice nod to you in recognition of your playing the Gorn to have you on the set when they would bring back the Gorn after 38 years.
It's a nice family reunion.
Yeah, a little lizard.
well, it was just me and Vince Dedrick. Uh, I worked with Vince Dedrick, but this show here was with Vince Dedrick Jr.
Oh,
Vince was a stuntman, and so was Junior a stuntman. Uh, I will just call him Vince. I won't call him Junior. I'll say Junior or something. But yes, I'll tell you when he called me and asked me to come and see that. I mean, I was in awe because like you say, it was a long time ago that
yeah.
that I was working. and I went there and I sat there, and it was a total situation that they don't you don't see this big camera anymore that's working on it, and if you're on the set, you don't the director isn't even on the set. He's in another room directing from there,
Yeah.
and you see these actors doing it, and he'll cut what he wants to cut and stuff like that. But for me, I was in awe to do that because I had never done something like that before.
Mhm.
It made me feel very good. Excuse
Oh.
me. Uh,
So the Gorn,
yeah.
the Gorn appeared and returned in that episode of Enterprise. But did you know of any plans for the Gorn to return in the original series? That was asked by Maelstrom Janice on Facebook. Did you know if there were any plans for the Gorn to return in the original series?
Are they going to return where?
In the original series.
Like any more appearances in the original show?
No, I didn't. That was the only time I did. I did a show on Star Trek called Return of the Archons,
Yeah.
and now that I was an actor stuntman, and
So
I did
I'll
another.
quickly show. I'll show the clip from that episode because it's quite a quick clip.
The clip from what?
That's the clip.
What a shot, wasn't it?
Just-
That you saw me run into the building, you saw me crash through the glass and everything, and run up and do my holler. I really I feel good about that. But
Very awesome.
festival.
where did you get that shot of it? I've always wanted to have a picture of that where I come out and hollered, but every picture that I see, all you see is two nostrils in it, and the one I just saw here, at least you have a face. I had a face in it. Before I didn't have a face.
There you go.
See,
Yeah.
Shoot, you can
Yeah,
take
that-
that like some photo editor, get the blurriness out, and that'll be a great photo.
Yeah.
Mm.
yeah.
Now you,
And you also-
had that.
you
I'm
did a
sorry?
guest appearance on a Star Trek fan series called Star Trek Continues, where you played the Hulkan administrator Tharn in the episode they did of Fairest of them All. What was that like? You know, like even though it wasn't the actual classic Trek set, it was, it was definitely had the feel of almost going back in time to that period, in your life, on classic Trek.
Do
you remember?
I'm not saying. No, I'm not. I'm not remembering that too well. You'd have to-
2014, on a fan series. That's what I had done some
It was
research
thick.
on.
It's a fan series. What was the show?
It was called Star Trek
convention was that?
Continues. It was called Star Trek
Star Trek-
Continues.
No, what was the name of the not the picture of it? What was the name
Episode.
of the convention that I did? I remember the convention names more than I remember
Oh,
what happened in them.
No, it was a fan
Do
film
you know-
series.
It was
It
what?
wasn't a convention.
it wasn't a
It was
convention. It was a production.
It was a fan film series.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm not
That's
remembering this.
Okay,
Okay.
that's okay. But you did appear in Star Trek, the original series episode Mirror Mirror. I've got a clip from that. And you're shot
Yeah,
by
that-
You got zapped.
shot by the phaser. Yeah.
Oh,
well,
Oh, that's a great
Yeah,
photo,
that-
Dan.
I have that photo too. And another thing about that photo, I have another photo of the guy shooting me. That somebody, a fan brought that to me. I didn't have those, but
Oh, okay.
he says, I was the guy that shot you in that scene, and I didn't know him. I didn't know him then. You meet him, and then that's it.
Yeah.
And I've been 50 years in that business,
Mm-hmm.
and I've met a lot of people, and I just like I say, I'm not a when I get off of work, I come home.
All
And a
right.
lot of those guys, when they get off of work, they go to a bar, or they go somewhere and eat, or they go somewhere, and a lot of them go home too. But I've always just came home on after my work,
Mm-hmm.
and I never went out and saw the well. Excuse me again. I used to belong to a little club that a lot of the stunt guys had, and it was called the Viewfinders, and that was a motorcycle club. I've ridden motorcycles practically all my life as well, and that was of a bunch of stunt people. Well, we had meeting places like at the King's Arms and places like that. And we'd have our meetings at the club, and after the meetings, then the guys would go in and they'd drink and stuff like. Oh, I'm not a drinker anyway, so I'd always just go over and get in the car and come home. That's it.
Right.
That's how I never went for that buddy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I just did my work,
Mhm.
Yep.
and that's as far as that went.
Yep.
Well, thank you very much for joining us today, Bobby Clark.
We
Yes, thank you
That-
so
that
much for
time,
joining us.
Mike?
appreciate the time you
It was a
spent
great
with us.
time. Thank
All
you.
right. Well, I want to thank you, Martha, Maria. I mean,
Maria.
and I want Maria. Maria.
Maria.
I just met a girl named Maria.
West Side
Yeah.
Story.
Funny note,
Bob,
Brent Spiner also sang me that too as well. Thank you.
that's,
And Nichelle
that's
Nichols,
good.
she went, Maria.
Yes,
Thank you.
that's
Thank you,
how
Bobby, for doing that. Thank you.
else do you say it? Bob, thank you very much. You've been very, very helpful, and you people probably know more about Star Trek than I do, because, like I say, I'm not a Trekkie, but I've been watching on this one station that it's all the original Star Treks and stuff like that.
H and I probably, yeah. Heroes and
Right,
Icons channel, yeah.
and yeah, and it brings back the memories of a lot of times there, but it's great. But I've been doing these what do we call this here? Huh?
Podcast. I think
No,
that's
what do
what we
they
call
call this? What? Zoom.
it. Zoom.
Zoom.
Yeah.
This is only my fourth Zoom, so uh, I'm not well on it, and I've never been asked questions like I've been asked on these things, and it's very complicated. I gotta go back and try and think of these things. But I want to thank you very much for having me, Dan, and I hope you
Thank
do
you.
well with this. And, oh, I see Bobby Clark's
Right.
picture there too. Thank you, Bobby. Hey, thank you again,
Okay.
Dan.
Thank
I'm
you.
glad to
Thank-
meet all of you.
Thank
And,
you, guys.
Thank you, everyone,
You
for
got it.
watching.
Yes.
I can't. There
There
you
you
go.
go.
There you
There you
go.
go.
Got it.
Like and
Yeah.
subscribe to the Scotch Trekker. Smash that like button.
Smash it.
Yep.
and
we'll see you on
don't
Tuesday.
forget, yeah, and don't forget,
Tuesday will be
we
our
got
next
a better
live show.
world coming.
That's all right.
Yep.
All
Bye
right.
for now.
For